Hello everyone and welcome back once again. This is your science teacher here, and this time I am here with a new chapter of NCERT grade 6, that is getting to know plants. And students, this one is the second part of your chapter number 7. Students, if you remembered, in the first part of this chapter we learned and discussed about the different criteria on the basis of which plants are categorized, and we also learned about the different parts of a leaf, different types of venation in a leaf, and lastly we also discussed about the different parts of a plant that a stem bears. Now students, in this part of this chapter we are going to learn and discuss about the different types of the roots and what is photosynthesis, what is transpiration, and lastly we will also discuss about the different parts of a flower. So let's start. Now students, the first topic is transpiration. Students, transpiration is the loss of water from a plant in the form of water vapor. Students, as we already discussed in the first part of this chapter, that the roots of the plant absorb water and mineral, and from here the stem absorb the water and minerals and transport it to each and every part of the plant. So students, the waters that travels through the stem to the leaves, some of it gets used up to prepare food, while on the other hand the excess water is converted to water vapor due to the presence of the sun. And students, this transpiration is a very important phenomena in plants because it helps the plants to cool down. And students, if in the absence of transpiration, the temperature of the leaf becomes unregulated, which may lead to the eventual death of a plant. And students, you can also observe this phenomena of transpiration just by enclosing a leafy part of a plant in a closed polythene bag by keeping it in the sun. And students, when you observe it after a while, then you will see many tiny droplets of water on the inside of polythene bag. And students, then it will prove that the leaves have performed transpiration. Now students, the next important topic is photosynthesis. Students, photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food using carbon dioxide, water and sunlight, and also in the presence of a green pigment present in the leaves called chlorophyll. And students, during this process of photosynthesis, the byproduct of plants also releases in the form of a life-giving gas, oxygen. And the foods that generally prepared during this process is stored in various parts of the plant. Students, while in the absence of photosynthesis, the plant is unable to utilize the water and the minerals to prepare food for its nourishment, and that's why gradually the plants die. And students, if you want to see that if leaves really do perform photosynthesis or not, then you have to do an experiment. And students, for this experiment you have to take a leaf and immerse it in a test tube with spirit. Then after this, place this test tube in a beaker filled with water, then heat it. Then students, after the leaf loses its color, then wash it and pour iodine solution on it. Students, when you do so, then you will observe that the leaves turn into blue-black. Then students, it will prove that the leaf perform photosynthesis. Now students, let's discuss the other part of a plant, that is root. Students, as we already discussed in the earlier sections about the function of a root in a plant, so that's make root a very important component of a plant system. And students, we even think about the existence of a plant without root, because roots are that part of the plant that are responsible for absorbing minerals and water from the soil and then transferring them to the stem. And students, it is only after root had transported water and minerals to stem, then the stem becomes capable of transporting and absorbing these water and minerals to all part of the plant. Students, the another important function of a root is to firmly hold the plant in the ground. And students, it is essential to support the upright position of a plants. And students, the another function is that it also perform the function of storing important nutrients and food for the growth of the plant. Students, there are basically two types of roots that exist in a plant, and these are taproots and fibrous roots. Students, in a taproot system, there is a main root that is larger and grows faster than the branch roots. Students, in a taproot system, there is a main long root and a bunch of smaller roots that grow from the main roots. And students, these bunch of roots are known as lateral roots. As you can see here, in the case of a carrot, that is the main taproot, and I hope you observe from the surrounding there are many small roots that are known as lateral roots. And students, it is very hard to pull out these kind of roots because these roots go deep within the soil. And students, this kind of root system is generally seen to exist in those type of plants that have reticulate venation. For example, carrot, turnip, gram, China rose, etc. Now students, the next type of root is fibrous roots. Students, fibrous roots are bushy roots in nature and that are very thin. And students, in this type of root system, there are many branching roots grow from the stem. And students, the another important part of this type of root system is that they don't have a main root. And students, as compared to taproot, these roots are relatively easier to pull out because the roots don't go very deep in the soil. And students, generally this kind of root system is seen to exist in the plants with leaves displaying parallel venation. For example, wheat, maize, onion, bamboo, etc. Now students, the next important part of a plant is flower. And in fact, we can say it is an important part of a plant. Students, the flowers are the colorful seed bearing parts of the plant, and generally it grows at the end of the stem. Students, a typical flower exhibit petals, sepals as its structure. Students, petals are the bright, colorful and broad part of the flower, as you can see here in this figure, this one here. And students, there may be 4 or more than 4 petals in a flower. And students, all the petals of a flower jointly called a corolla. As you can see here, here are 3 petals in this flower, this one and this one. So all these 3 petals all together called as corolla. Now students, the next structure of a typical flower is sepal. As you can see here in this image, this greenish like structure over here is known as sepal. And students, this sepal is a leaf like structure that encloses the petals, and it is also responsible of protecting the flower when the flower is in a bud stage. And students, like all petals all together called as corolla, in the same way many sepals all together called as calyx. Now students, the next important part of a flower is stamen. Students, stamen is the male reproductive part of a plant. And students, generally stamen is a long and cylinder part of a flower. And students, you can only observe it after removing the petals and the sepal of a flower. And students, a typical stamen consists of an anther and a long cylinder-like structure called filament. Now students, the next part of a flower is pistil. Students, pistil is the female reproductive part of a flower, and students, it is the innermost part of a flower. And a typical pistil consists of a stigma, that is the head of a pistil, a style, which is the long sticky part that attached to the stigma to the ovary, and thirdly, the typical pistil consists of ovary. And students, this ovary is the small sylvan sphere at the base of the pistil, as you can see here in this image. And students, if you dissect this sylvan part of the pistil, means to say ovary, then you will observe many bead-like structure inside the ovary that are known as ovules. Now students, the next important part of a plant is seed. Students, a seed is a small embryonic plant enclosed in a covering called the seed coat. Students, a seed is the basic part of any plant, and it is also known as enclosed dormant embryo of a plant, means to say a unconscious baby of a plant. And students, as you all know that seeds are basically found in the fruits, and when you sow them, then it will give rise to a new plant. Students, a seed is generally made up of different parts, like the plumule part of the seed give rise to the shoot system of a plant. In the same way, the radicle part of a seed give rise the root part of a plant, and the cotyledons of the seeds provide nutrition. Students, the image that you see here, these are called cotyledons that store the food for a baby plant. And students, on the basis of the cotyledons, seed are classified into two types, monocots and dicots. Students, monocots have single cotyledon like corn, wheat, rice. And students, whereas dicots have two cotyledons like gram, moong, coriander, etc. Now students, the last topic of your this chapter is food, fruits and vegetables. Students, as you all know that fruits are very different from vegetables, because generally the fruits always develop from a flower, whereas the vegetables are parts of the plant that are edible to us. And the vegetables could be the shoots, the leaves, the roots, or even the fruit part of the plant. For example, if you are consuming tomato, it means then you are consuming the fruit part of a plant. In the same way, if you are consuming potato, then you are consuming the stem part of a plant. And if you are consuming cauliflower, then you are consuming the flower part of a plant. And if you are consuming radish, carrot, then you are consuming the root part of a plant. Now students, that's all about your chapter number 7, and with this topic here, your chapter number 7 is completed. Now I will be come back soon with another chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe and stay healthy.